What's up everybody, my name is Light and welcome to the final episode in our Let's Build a Village series. With this last episode of the series, I have now released my Patreon. You can support me and download this world for yourself to explore everything that we've built so far. I'll talk a bit more about that at the end of this video, but for now, let's go ahead and jump right in. We're going to be finishing off the village this episode by adding a town hall, a library, some fountains, and a giant bridge that will span across the ocean and act as an entrance to our village. I used World Edit to fix and flatten out this hill at the top of our village. I built up the foundation for the town hall using a gradient mix of mossy stone bricks, tough blocks, and acacia logs. I wanted to put the town hall and the library on top of this hill because it's going to add a huge variation in elevation for our village. Whenever you're walking around and exploring the village, you'll be able to look up and see the town hall and the library both towering over you on this hill. For the upper half of the town hall, I used a mixture of terracotta and bricks to uphold the color palette that we've been using throughout the entire progress of this village. And then I went around the town hall and began decorating more specific details. I specifically wanted to have this waterfall go under the town hall and disappear into the hill that it's built on. I also wanted to add a lot of porches to the town hall, which I did on 3 sides of the building, as well as adding an upper deck onto the back of the building so that it has a good view of most of the village. After that, I continued to edit the town hall to my liking, changing some of the blocks to different colored ones in order to add some more contrast to the overall build. I also came back in and I added some chairs and tables to these decks, for people to sit down at these porches and enjoy their views of the village. After the town hall was done, I continued to terraform the hill, and then I planned out the foundation of the library using different colored wool blocks. I also revisited the town hall to add some trees and some foliage around the area. And then it was back to the library to finish fleshing out the design of the building. For the library, I wanted to use a higher contrasting palette of blocks. I did this by using a mixture of deep slate blocks and basalt blocks for the foundation of the building, and then I used smooth sandstone for the top half. I wanted this library to kind of have 2 wings on each side of a central dome, but at the same time I wanted to keep the building relatively small to stay within the scale of our village. I added a small garden outside the entrance of the library, and then I went inside the building to decorate the entire interior. This consisted of basically just adding a bunch of bookshelves, lecterns, candles, and anything else you might find in a library. When decorating the interior, I also used the new chiseled bookcase block to make it look like some of the books had been removed from the shelves. It's a really cool block that adds just a little bit more detail to the library and makes it feel just a little bit more real and used. I finished off the interior of the central dome by adding some enchanting tables, and then I built the roof of the library, changing out some of the waxed copper blocks to prismarine. After that, I went to the back of the library and I built this giant porch that wraps around the library and overlooks the island that we transformed in the 3rd episode of this series. This offers a space for villagers to come outside and sit down and read their book with an awesome view of the village. After that, I came back out to the front of the library and we still had a little bit of space on top of this hill to work with. I wanted to add a giant fountain to act as the highest kind of central area of the village. So I terraformed the hill a bit more using World Edit, and I began to play around with different designs for a fountain. I eventually came up with this granite and brick design, but I wanted to add a little bit more to this space. So after adding some flower pots around the perimeter of the fountain, I decided to add these really cool trellises around the fountain. I really liked this design. The trellises felt very warm and cozy, reaching out over the path that encircles the fountain. And finally, it was time to begin this giant bridge that's going to act as the entrance to our village. The amount of ocean that we're spanning across is pretty wide, so I decided to add an island down in the middle to kind of break up the monotony of the length of the bridge just a bit. I added some custom trees to the island in the middle, and then went around to add some paths reaching out from the bridge, as well as some more custom trees, and some fences to border the path. And then I began figuring out the design that I wanted to go with for the bridge. I planned out the design of the bridge, and then I used World Edit to change those wool blocks into other materials. I built up the pillars and the foundation of the bridge with a mixture of stone bricks and tough blocks, as well as some mossy stone bricks to indicate where the water has gotten the bridge wet. For the actual platform of the bridge, I used spruce wood and then dark oak logs for the frame. For the towers, I used a mixture of bricks and terracotta. I detailed the towers out, and then I used World Edit to copy and paste them along the bridge. I didn't want this to feel too repetitive, so I added another tower using dark prismarine blocks that would act more as a canopy for shade along the bridge. I also added some traveling carts along the bridge to indicate people traveling into and out of the village. After that, I changed the design of the bridge just a little bit, and then I added some lanterns along the entire length of the bridge. I also came back and I added some railings to the village. With the bridge done, I came around to its entrance on the other side of the ocean. I wanted to add a few buildings on the other side of this bridge, so the village didn't feel like it was completely popping up out of nowhere. On the first house that I added, I built a tower on top reaching out. I imagined that this could be a home for a guard that watches over the bridge. And after that was done, I wanted to use the rest of the space that I had over here to actually add a giant flower and dye shop. This house sits outside a giant field of flowers that are used to create different colored dyes. Under this canopy attached to the house, I added a cauldron and some other blocks to indicate that the flowers that are planted here are being used and harvested to dye materials different colors. And after all that, I came back into the village to add this little fountain that overlooks this half of the village. And with that, our village is completely done. And to celebrate the completion of this series, you will have access to the download for this world. By supporting me on Patreon, for $5, download this world for yourself and explore everything that I've built inside of this world. That includes the Kingdom of Calorum, as well as the Lost Castle, and now, the village that we have just completed in this video. The link to my Patreon can be found below in the description. I really hope you consider supporting me, it would mean so much to me. But regardless of that, I really hope all of you enjoyed this video and this series. I had so much fun building this village, not to mention the kingdom and the Lost Castle. and I do want to continue building in this world. The idea that I had for this world would be that I would continue building in it and releasing videos for you guys to see the progress we make in this world. And after I complete each project in this world, I'm going to re-release the world for you guys to explore all of the new content. Let me know what you think about that in the comments, and also please let me know what other kind of videos you guys want to see on this channel. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and subscribe for more content just like this in the future. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see all of you in the next video.